Nike. The giant that once dominated the sportswear world has lost over $150 billion in market value in just 3 years. And the brand that brought us the legendary Air Jordans and the iconic "Just Do It" slogan is now facing its worst performance in history. Like, the share prices of Nike have crashed from a high of $177 to a shocking low of $75 only. And it wipes out literally billions of dollars almost overnight. How did such a legendary brand with the synonymous of innovation, performance, and success fall so hard? And why people are avoiding such a GOAT brand like Nike? Well, be with me, guys. Today, we will deeply understand the mistakes of Nike, how such a big brand saw their worst performance, and at the end, what we will learn from the whole case study. Let's begin. Nike is a global giant that dominates the complete sportswear market. By 2022, it was generating a huge amount of $46.7 billion in revenue, while its Air Jordan line alone contributed significantly to its success. Sounds crazy, right? It seemed like nothing could stop Nike's momentum, but then something goes wrong. Over the past 3 years, the picture has completely changed. In June 2024, Nike announced its fourth quarter earnings from the 1st of March to the 31st of May, and the news was shocking. On June 28th, Nike's stock price fell sharply by 20% in just 1 day, which resulted in a staggering loss of $28 billion in the company's market value. And guys, this was not just a small setback for the company, but a largest single-day decline in Nike's history since it went public in 1980s. The company reported a revenue of $12.61 billion, but this figure did not meet expectations. That leads to widespread concern among investors about Nike's future performance. And definitely after such a big loss, the employees were likely feeling the pressure of the stock drop. And to make things better, the CFO of Nike, Matthew Friend, came into the limelight and tried to stay positive, even as things were looking rough. He said, "Tough times can actually help us focus better." Basically, he believed that these challenges could push Nike to find new ways to grow and improve. The news hit investors hard. Nike's stock took a big fall, and it wasn't just regular shareholders who lost money. Even Phil Knight, Nike's co-founder, saw his wealth drop by $5.5 billion in just 1 day. It also sent shockwaves through the entire sportswear industry. Right after Nike's big announcement, shares of competitors like Adidas and Puma also fell. This shows that investors were worried not just about Nike, but about the whole athletic wear market. It was a sign that confidence in the industry was shaken, and it makes everyone more cautious. At first, Nike thought their sales would only drop a little in fiscal 2025, maybe by around 5 to 7%. But as the year went on, things turned out to be worse than they expected. They had to adjust their prediction, and it also warned everyone that their sales might actually fall close to 10% compared to last year. And this was a much bigger drop than they originally planned for. That shows us just how tough things had gotten for them. Nike reported earnings of $1.01 per share, which was a bit better than experts expected. But here's the problem. Even with that, their sales dropped more than anyone thought. But the question is, if everything's going great before 3 years, then how did things get worse in these 3 years? To see why Nike started struggling, we need to go back to early 2020. That's when Nike made a surprising move by bringing in John Donahoe as their new CEO. This was unexpected because Donahoe wasn't from the sportswear world, but he came from the tech world and led the companies like eBay before. But now you might be thinking, why would a sports brand choose a tech guy to lead them? Well, the Nike leadership believed Donahoe's tech background would be just what they needed. They wanted to stop depending so much on big stores like Macy's and Amazon, because when their products were sold in big stores, then the fake Nike items often ended up on the shelves next to the real ones. This confused customers and hurt Nike's reputation. And also, there's reason like Nike wanted to sell directly to customers through its own website and stores by removing the system of the middleman. At first, this looked like a smart move, especially since everyone was shopping online more during the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, the result? It worked. At first, this plan seemed to be a big win for Nike. During the pandemic, their online sales shot up by 75%, and these digital sales made up 30% of their total revenue. To put that into perspective, Nike didn't think they'd hit that goal until 2023, but they did it way earlier. Everything looked like it was going great, at least for a while, but soon something happened. something that no one imagined. Nike was so focused on selling online that they made way more products to keep up with the sudden demand during the pandemic. But by 2023, they found themselves with a huge stock of unsold items. In fact, their extra stock went up by 40%, which reached nearly $9.7 billion worth of extra products they couldn't sell. The big problem was that Nike had stopped working with many major stores, like Macy's and Amazon. This made it really hard for them to sell all the extra products they had made without the help of these stores. So, overall, the Nike was trapped because it relied too much on selling directly to customers, but when online sales dropped, they realized they needed more stores to help clear out all the extra stock. Plus, when Nike tried to get back into these stores they had left, it wasn't so easy. Retailers had already started selling other brands and were hesitant to make space for Nike again. And then they did something that will increase their problem. Yes, Nike ran into big trouble when they decided to offer huge discounts on their products. At first, it seemed like a smart move to quickly sell off extra stock, and it did. It helps Nike to clear some items, but in the long run, this decision created bigger problems. While the discounts helped move products, it hurt Nike's profits. By selling at lower prices, they made less money per item, and the worst thing, it damaged their image. Nike has always been seen as a premium, high-quality brand, but when customers see lots of discounts, they might think the products aren't as exclusive or top quality anymore. But that wasn't the only problem. As Nike tried to broaden its appeal, they started focusing more on lifestyle products rather than pushing the envelope in sports performance gear. This change upset many longtime fans who love Nike for its innovation in sports technology. As a result, customers who once relied on Nike for the best athletic shoes began looking at other brands. And while Nike was busy trying to become more of a lifestyle brand, competitors like Adidas, On, and Hoka jumped at the chance to fill the gap. These brands launched new, high-performance products that attracted athletes and sports enthusiasts. Nike's share of the US sports shoe market slipped from 35.37% in 2022 to 34.97% in 2023. It shows that customers were starting to trust other brands for their sports needs. Meanwhile, during this time, brands like Hoka and On were gaining ground fast, and by 2023, they held 35% of the global sportswear market, which was a big jump from just 20% a few years earlier. This shift proved that when Nike lost focus, competitors were ready to step in and win over customers. And the recent fall of Nike is not just about bad products or poor sales. It was about a shift in how people saw the brand. Nike started to lose their emotional bond with customers because from the very beginning, their core value is to make people feel a personal connection with its brand. But as they shifted their focus to digital marketing and selling directly to customers online, they started to lose that connection. Instead of focusing on what made people love them, like stories of athletes pushing their limits, they started relying on numbers, data, and ads. Meanwhile, at the same time, other brands like Adidas, On, and Hoka saw a big chance and came out with new, exciting products that focused on performance and innovation, which was exactly what athletes were looking for. As more people started noticing these brands, Nike began losing some of its shine. But Nike is still a big giant in the market, right? So if everything goes wrong, everything against them, then definitely they did take action. Well, after facing significant setbacks and losses, in the month of December 2023, they made some tough decisions to make things better. And to recover the losses, they fired about 1,600 employees, which was nearly 2% of their entire workforce. And definitely this was a tough, but also a necessary step to efficiently run their operations. Also, after a big loss, they realized that going all in on direct consumer sales had its downsides. So to make things better, they again started to rebuild relationships with retail partners because they already understood the consequences of cutting ties with so many stores, with the goal to get their products back on more shelves and make it easier for customers to find Nike gear wherever they shop. And then in October 2024, Nike made another big move by appointing Elliott Hill as the new CEO, replacing John Donahoe. Hill was a person who had been with Nike for decades and was seen as the right person to steer the company back to its core strengths and fix some of the missteps made in recent years. But guys, It wasn't just about fixing past mistakes. Nike knew they had to innovate to stay relevant. And to achieve this, they came up with a new plan to introduce more affordable sneakers, with pricing under $100, to attract the attention of budget-conscious shoppers. Well, to do this, their aim is to win back customers who might have turned to cheaper brands. These moves show that Nike is serious about bouncing back. They're making changes, learning from their mistakes, and focusing on what they do best, like creating great products and staying connected with their loyal customers. We've seen how Nike went from dominating the market to facing some of its biggest challenges in recent years. This video wasn't just about Nike's mistakes. It was about learning how any brand can rise, fall, and rise again with the right moves. So hit that subscribe button, and before leaving, check another video popping on the left.